Hello everyone, it's Hunter and welcome back to my channel. If you guys are new here, it's so nice to meet you. Today's video, I'm going to be doing my January book wrap up. This is one of my favorite videos to film of every month because I'm sharing with you guys all the books I read from the previous month. I think I only read 10 in January. I have definitely been reading on the slower side recently, but I am still enjoying the books that I'm reading. I think I read like 15 or 20 last January, so definitely on the slower side this time around because I've been incredibly unmotivated. If you guys don't know, I'm 29 weeks pregnant actually as of today filming this video, and that's just had me wanting to be so lazy and just scroll on TikTok forever, so that's kind of why I've been slower. But anyway, I wanted to share with you guys the books that I read, and this time I actually wrote everything down, a brief description of every book that I read and how I felt about it. So before I get started, I would love it if you guys would subscribe to my channel down below if you haven't already, and give this video a thumbs up. That lets YouTube know that you like this video and they will show it to more people. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get started. The first book is I Know Where You Live by Greg Olson, and I really enjoy his books. I've read a couple of them and I've never been disappointed, so I gave this one 5 stars. It is about two girls, Violet and Lily. Their grandfather suspiciously passes away, and Violet is excited because she can finally feel peace knowing that the secrets of his past are laid to rest. She then decides to help other women who need to feel at peace for the same reasons. I said I thought this was completely unexpected, but I really enjoyed it. I don't have a ton of thoughts on it, but I do think that it requires a trigger warning for SA, but I thought this was very well written and it very much gave vigilante vibes. So if you're looking for like a revenge story, this is definitely it. So that's the first one. The second one is Secluded Cabin Sleep 6 by Lisa Unger, and I gave this one 4 stars. We have 3 couples who rent a luxury cabin in the woods. When they arrive, things seem off, but the place has great reviews and they can't wait to just relax, but then some secrets start to come out and it's not at all what they thought the trip was gonna be. I gave this 4 stars because I enjoyed it while I was reading it. Like, I thought it was really good while I was reading it, but I had a hard time remembering what this book was about when I was trying to recap it, so otherwise I don't really have much else to say. Also, I wanted to point out I am a pretty generous rater when it comes to books. I start with 5 and work my way down, and some people start with 1 and work their way up. So some people never have a 5, but my 5s start with like, I can't find anything wrong with this book. 4 is like, there's something that bothers me, but I can't quite figure it out. And then I usually don't give anything lower than a 4, but I'm a pretty generous book rater, so just keep that in mind. Next is The Therapist by B.A. Paris, and I gave this 5 stars. Alice and Leo move into a new community called The Circle, and as Alice gets to know her neighbors, she soon becomes obsessed with the therapist who used to live in their house. I said I am not gonna lie, I had a hard time remembering what this book was about to recap it, but I really did enjoy it, and I've liked everything I've read by this author, so I didn't expect anything different. The 4th book of the month, I actually have the physical copy of. Carrie Soto is back, and it's making it dark, so I'm gonna put it down. Carrie Soto is back, so I gave this 5 stars, of course. I love Taylor Jenkins Reid. Carrie Soto is the greatest athlete and most famous tennis player ever when she decides to retire. After years in retirement, her record is about to be broken, and she decides that she's not gonna let that happen. I love Taylor Jenkins Reid historical fiction. They are some of my favorite books. All 4 of her historical fiction books, I just think are so good, but particularly Daisy Jones and the Six and Malibu Rising. Those are 2 of my top favorite books of all time. So I was excited to read this. I also did not expect to like this one as much as I did because the first time I tried to read it when it first came out in August of 2022. I pre-ordered it and I tried to read it as soon as I got it in the mail, and I just had a hard time following. I was a little bored, but then I was able to listen to it. Whenever I figured out that I was having a hard time getting into the book, I decided to put hold on the book at the library, the audiobook. So because of that, I decided to wait until I could listen to it while I was reading along with it, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was such a good experience, and it was much better than trying to read it. There was a whole cast of characters which made it incredibly easy to follow, and I didn't know much about tennis before this book, which maybe is why I was struggling to read it because there was just lots of tennis terminology, but listening to it was truly a game changer. So this was truly a surprising story, and I loved every minute of it. So the 5th book I read this month was Finley Donovan is Killing It by Elle Cosimano. I gave this one 5 stars. I saw this one at a bookstore in Asheville whenever I went after Christmas, took a picture of it, and then as soon as I got home, I realized it was on Kindle Unlimited, and I was so excited. So of course I had to read it. It's about Finley Donovan. She is a romantic suspense author who is a little bit down on her luck. Her work isn't selling the way she'd hoped to, and after her divorce, she is struggling to pay the bills. When she meets her agent to discuss her next book, a woman overhears and thinks she's a professional hit woman instead and hires her to kill her husband for a lot of money. That, first of all, was like the perfect way to draw me in. Like, that description was so good. This was one of my favorite reads of the month. I thought it was super fast fast-paced and funny despite it also being very suspenseful. Finley's character made me laugh out loud and also shows that people can do things that they never thought they would do when they're in a desperate situation. Her sleuthing through the book is also great. Her family dynamic with her ex and her kids and her nanny is fantastic. This was a more lighthearted book that still dealt with the thriller aspects, and it was a really nice read. I think that if you're trying to, I've said this before about like if you're trying to dip your toes into thriller, like YA thriller is a good way to start, but I definitely think this one is a really good way to start as well. If you're looking to start with like an adult book that is thriller, but also maybe not something that's like super dark and heavy, that one was really good. I really liked it. The 6th book I read was The Family Next Door by Sally Hepworth, and I gave this one 5 stars. It focuses on 3 different women in an affluent neighborhood in Melbourne, Australia. We see the perspective of all 3 of them and we learn about their struggles and secrets. I think that Sally Hepworth writes really good domestic thrillers, so I was excited to read this. She's one of my favorites, so I knew I would enjoy it. The secrets that are revealed are literally so unexpected, and like I can't tell you what they are because that would ruin the whole book, but you think you know where the story is going, and then like you think it's gonna be a predictable story, so you're kind of bored a little bit, but then suddenly you find out what is actually going on, and it is wild. Truly, I thought it was really good. The next book is one that I got from NetGalley a long time ago to read as an advanced reader's copy, and then I waited too long to read it until it was released. So I finally got around to reading it because I still needed to write a review on it, and it's The Rom-Com Agenda by Jane Denker. I gave this 4 stars. Leah is back in Willow Cove after taking care of her dying foster mom and is working every job in town in an attempt to save money so she can get out of town. Eli is the other character, and he has had his heart broken, is willing to do whatever it takes to win back the love of his life. Eli's sister and her friends come up with a plan to help Eli win Victoria back, and Leah ends up watching lots of rom-com movies with Eli and spends lots of time during his makeover. We all know what happens when a single man and a single woman spend time together in books, especially a romance book. This was definitely a slow burn, but at times I felt like it was a little bit too slow, if that makes sense, which is why I decided to give it 4 stars. This was a clean / closed door romance, so I really did enjoy that because those are my favorite kinds of romances to read. But overall I thought it was a really cute book, but I just thought that it was a little slow at times. Book number 8 for the month was Love on the Brain by Ali Hazelwood, which is another book that is a very STEM-based book. If you don't know, that's science, technology, engineering, and math. So I gave it 5 stars. We have B, who is a neuroscientist, and she gets her dream job collaborating with NASA, but then she finds out that she'll be co-leading a project with her professional enemy, Levi. This was a very short description that I just gave you, but it's essentially enemies to lovers. I was bored at first because there was a lot of STEM talk, and I honestly have a hard time following, but I listened to the audiobook as well as reading along, and I really felt B growing as a scientist, which was really great, and we love to see women working in male-dominated fields, especially when people don't believe in them. And I think I gave it 5 stars because I unexpectedly enjoyed it despite the lots of science talk, if that makes sense. I do not have a science brain, so that's why I wasn't sure if I was gonna like it, but I liked The Love Hypothesis, so I wanted to give this one a try, and I did really enjoy it. This next book is number 9, and I literally saw this recommended on TikTok several times, so I just decided to download it. It's called Run on Red by Noelle W. Illy. I'm not sure if I pronounced that right, I'm so sorry. I gave it 4 stars. Olivia and Lauren are on their way to a campfire when a truck starts to tailgate them and acts like they want to run them off the road. Eventually they are run off the road, and what happens next is that the girls are fighting for their lives as they navigate the wilderness with no cell service and freaky men hunting them down. This was super fast-paced, and it takes place all in one night. I thought the girls' attempts at getting away from their hunters is clever, and they did everything they could to try and get away and make it to safety. I did only give this 4 stars because the ending was so incredibly abrupt, and there was absolutely no build-up to the resolution. It just ended. It's a satisfactory ending, but it just happens so quickly that it's almost unexpected how quickly it happens, and then it's just over. Like, there's no, like, I don't know. It just ended so quickly that I had to give it 4 stars. And the last and 10th book that I read in January was Rock, Paper, Scissors by Alice Feeney, and I gave this one 5 stars. Adam and Amelia went a weekend away to a secluded chapel turned home in Scotland during a winter storm. They're struggling in their marriage, and they think a weekend away would be good for them, but things are not as they seem. The chapel is locked when they get there. When they do finally make it in, it looks like no one was expecting them, and things just keep getting weirder. Amelia and Adam both are holding on to their own secrets as well. So this was absolutely not what I was expecting. I don't even think I read the description before I started reading, but I was pleasantly surprised by the whole story. I thought it was really fast-paced, and I felt really into this book. The end was truly shocking, and I felt like it did have a good resolution, and maybe it's because the book I read before didn't have a great resolution at the end, so like maybe I just liked this one better. But it ended in a completely unexpected way. Like, I truly did not expect it to end the way that it did, but it was really good, and I've had other people tell me that they they really like this book as well. So I would highly recommend it, and I think it's available on Kindle Unlimited. That is all I read in January. Like I said, 10 books is a lot for some people. It's not a lot for some people. For me, that's kind of like a lower number, but I am trying to pace myself this year. Last year, I read the first 100 books that I read by May, which is crazy. Less than 6 months into the year, and I'd already read 100 books. So I am trying to pace myself so that I can like really absorb and enjoy the books that I'm reading instead of just trying to fly through as many as possible, which was definitely my goal last year. I'm just trying to enjoy them and take them in a little bit more this year. Also, I've just been distracted. So anyway, that's all I have for today's video. But if you guys enjoyed it, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel down below if you haven't already. I post my book wrap-ups every month, and then I like to talk about books on my channel as well. So if you guys enjoy that kind of stuff, love to have you over here, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.